In 2016, New York City began the Interim Flood Protection Measures program, which protects critical facilities, infrastructure, and low-lying areas in the city from flooding caused by major coastal storms and hurricanes. Most sites in the program are in neighborhoods that were hit hard by the effects of Hurricane Sandy.
Hurricane Sandy was a pivotal moment in New York City's climate action agenda. 44 New Yorkers lost their lives. The storm caused $19 billion in damages across the city, and over 2 million people lost power for several weeks.
If we hadn't experienced Sandy, we wouldn't be having these conversations. It really had such an impact on the city and on the community.
Everyone is concerned about that next storm. Is the flooding going to impact our community again?
After Sandy, we realized we had to do something to protect the neighborhood as much as we can.
The Interim Flood Protection Measures, or IFPM, provide immediate protection, while permanent mitigation is designed, engineered, and constructed.
So this is a temporary strategy that'll last up to 5 years or so, until we can do permanent modifications.
Mitigation Program Manager at New York City Emergency Management.
In 2018, the city held a multi-agency exercise in Brooklyn to test the program.
And we are very excited and very grateful to have everyone.
The reason we do exercises is because we want to make sure that the plan is viable.
We don't want to be out here when the storm is approaching and then find out we calculated something wrong.
This is a multi-agency exercise. Emergency management is serving in our coordination role. Traffic control is being handled by the New York City Sheriff's Office, and we have the Department of Environmental Protection out here, so it's a team effort.
The exercise is also designed to test the city's interaction with its emergency response contractor.
Our emergency deployment contractor is one of the largest environmental and disaster response contractors in the country. 72 hours before the storm, they'll hit the ground running.
We're putting these things in. Watch your hands, watch your heads, watch each other.
We're using 3 main types of protection. HESCO barriers, basically a wire mesh cage that's approximately 3 foot by 3 foot by 4 foot high. And then we fill them with sand that becomes a water barrier.
Any type of water that's going to come out off the ocean over here, it'll come here, it'll hit these sandbags. They're 4 feet high, and they'll protect us. Then when you hit a gap, let's say a driveway or a street, that stays open, and they inflate these orange tiger dams.
Tiger dams are water-filled tubes that are deployed just in advance of a storm.
And that connects HESCO bag to HESCO bag.
And that's what forms the whole line of protection. Then we are also using flood panel type protection. We put out posts that are fitted usually on either side of a doorway or that kind of opening. And then when we have the forecast of the storm, we would come and deploy the panels that get slotted into those posts. So that's the third measure.
The Interim Flood Protection Measures program will help protect important facilities and services throughout the city that are susceptible to storm damage, such as the Rockaway and Hunts Point wastewater treatment plants. Combined, these 2 facilities treat wastewater for more than 750,000 New Yorkers.
This is the Rockaway wastewater treatment plant. During Sandy, we pretty much got wiped out. Our main sewer pumps were under 40 feet of water. They pretty much shut us down.
The Hunts Point plant, the water level came about 10 foot above mean high tide. We did lose one building that to this day is still not functioning.
And obviously, if those locations are better fortified, then we're not at risk the same way we were. Hopefully we don't have to go through what we went through before. I went through enough.
During Sandy, we had over 150 buildings affected. Our main building was completely inundated with water. To respond to that scenario, we have HESCO barriers and tiger dams put in place to protect critical operations that happen based out of that building.
To engage community stakeholders in the process of making their neighborhoods more resilient, the Red Hook IFPM Mural Arts Program was created. Designs by 10 selected artists from all over the world now decorate the HESCO barriers in Red Hook.
I think it's important that a community buys into the concept of IFPM. Red Hook is a community that was devastated by Hurricane Sandy. We wanted to make sure that the community had some level of protection. There are ways to beautify this infrastructure, and so the community's really rallied around it.
Red Hook's been wonderfully supportive. These HESCO barriers are probably the world's most beautiful HESCOs.
While the interim flood protection measures will reduce impacts to buildings, roadways, and critical infrastructure, they are not designed to protect people. That means if the city issues an evacuation order, you must evacuate.
After exercises like this, we will review all of our plans and find out how can we generalize those findings to our other sites and improve our plans for the next time.
We want to test it. If it doesn't work, we'll scrap it. We'll modify whatever we're going to do to make it work better.
All of the interagency coordination went really well. It exposed some issues that we needed to address, which is why we do the exercises. We are doing this to keep the city running after a major event like a coastal storm or a hurricane.
Hurricane Sandy reminded us that we need to be prepared for the chronic impacts of climate change, whether it's sea level rise, storm surge, extreme heat, or intense precipitation. So we're taking action on all of those fronts.